Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the basic equations that are used in transport phenomena. Let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Saurabh Jogekar. I am the course coordinator for this particular subject. Start with the basic guidelines that I am going to repeat in the every class so that it becomes a part of our daily routine. That we are carrying something to write. There is a PowerPoint presentation has got a recorded voice, so please use headsets for better voice quality. Make sure you have got a latest update of Microsoft Office, and feel free to contact me in case of any specific queries. And also you have and also we have to follow the basic guidelines shared by WHO regarding the ongoing pandemic. In this particular presentation, we are going to understand the three basic equations that are used in transport phenomena, or these are the basic three fundamental equations that govern heat, mass, and momentum transfer. So first is Newton's law of viscosity, Fourier's law of heat conduction, Fick's law of mass transfer. Then we'll just have a comparison of the three equations. Now we'll consider something called as boundary conditions. Understanding boundary conditions is very essential in solving all the scenarios in transport phenomena. And then there will be a tutorial. So to start with Newton's law of viscosity, so consider two parallel plates at a distance y having fluid filled in between. So there are these two plates, the fluid is between the plates and the plates are separated at a distance of y. Now I give a small horizontal push to the lower plate in x direction so that it moves at a velocity of vx. So what will happen? Now we have to understand that all the material that is on the lower plate, that is having a velocity of vx, the exact molecules that are on the inner surface of the plate will move with the same velocity. And as you gradually go up towards the plate which is stationary, you are going to see the velocity will go on decreasing. The arrows that you are seeing over here represents the velocity at which that particular layer is traveling. So this basically forms the basis of having a equation. Now one thing we have to keep in mind that all of these equations, there are certain assumptions. Now what are those assumptions? One is laminar flow. Laminar flow includes all the entire fluid. It is flowing in layers, and there is no interaction, or not interaction, there is no mixing of those layers. All the layers that are flowing are independent, and so along with it, as you go towards the upper layer, the velocity will go on decreasing. This thing, the triangle that you are seeing over here, is called as the velocity distribution. So now it is of interest as a chemical engineer that at which point what is the velocity. So we need to have a equation that find out that at certain distance y, or let's say at a half of the distance, what would be the velocity, right? So tau is the shear stress that is being generated due to the velocity of the lower plate. Now this tau would be directly proportional to the relative velocity between the layers, as well as it will be inversely proportional to the distance. Higher the distance, lower will be the tau. Now, expanding the same equation, we'll see that let us say mu is the constant of proportionality and there is a minus sign attached to this equation. Now, why the minus sign? Now, this minus sign represents the change in velocity because v2 is going to be a lower value than v1. So v2 minus v1 is always going to be a negative value. So to compensate that, we are putting a minus sign over there. So this mu, that is the constant of proportionality, is the viscosity that is responsible for having a velocity gradient. Now let us consider Fourier's law of heat conduction. Now here heat is transferred due to the vibrations of the molecules of the medium, right? So similarly, consider two parallel plates at a distance y having a solid slab in between. Similar to the earlier example, now at t is equal to 0, at initial condition, both the slabs are at same temperature, right? So over the time, at steady state, the temperature profile is going to be a straight line. Now suddenly the lower plate has the temperature of the lower plate is increased to T1. So what will happen as you move towards T0, as you move towards the upper plate, the temperature will go on reducing. So here we are going to see a temperature gradient. So if we say the heat flux would be directly proportional to the temperature difference. Now what is the temperature difference? The ultimate temperature difference is T0 and T1. Higher the temperature difference, higher would be the heat flux. And it will be inversely proportional to the thickness of that medium. Right? So what is thickness? Higher would be the thickness, lesser would be the heat flux because the amount of resistance that would be offered by the medium would be higher. Now similar to the Newton's law, we are going to open up this relation using some constant of proportionality. Again, heat flux becomes some constant k dt by dy and there is a minus sign. So here k is the property of that particular medium, right? Its unit would be watt per meter Kelvin. Now Fick's law of molecular diffusion. Now consider a binary system where a particular solute A is diffusing in solvent B through some surface, right? So there is some concentration. Now there was some solute A and that is being diffusing in solvent B. So at initial point the solvent B was not there, or you can say solvent was there, uh, solute was not there, and now suddenly you now this basically is the diffusion layer. The thing that we are looking here, the two lines, this is the diffusion layer. One would be the concentration of A and another would be the concentration at liquid. So obviously if the concentration, there would be a concentration gradient in the diffusion layer where there will be a higher concentration of solute A in the gas phase and the concentration will go on decreasing as you go towards liquid, right? Because in the liquid A gets solubilized, so the concentration of A in gas phase is higher and concentration of A in liquid phase is lower. So A will transfer from gas phase to liquid phase. Here again we are assuming that there is molecular diffusion that is happening place. So this particular assumption is there for all the three cases where the medium is constant and there is some transfer happening through it. Again, if we now see the mass flux that is going to happen, it will be directly proportional to the concentration difference. Higher the concentration difference, higher is going to be the mass flux. Also, the mass flux is going to be inversely proportional to the thickness of that diffusion layer. Higher would be the thickness of diffusion layer, lower would be the mass flux, because higher amount of resistance will be offered to that particular molecular diffusion. Expanding the proportionality, we use mass flux would be equal to some constant dAb into dCA by dy, right? And again there will be a minus sign because there is the delta C would always be a negative value. I hope that is clear. Now let us come to what are the common features of all this. Now all these things, all the three equations, now there is some cause and then there is some effect. Now cause, what are the causes? What is the cause for heat transfer, mass transfer or momentum transfer? There is some gradient that is there. This is the cause, right? And what is the effect? The transfer that we are seeing. So flux is directly proportional to gradient, right? Similarly, there would be some constant of proportionality there. For momentum flux, again it will be directly proportional to gradient. So on the right side of the proportionality you are seeing the cause, and on the left side of the proportionality you are seeing the effect. So for momentum, higher momentum flux would be there for higher gradient, lower momentum flux would be there for lower gradient. Now here the constant of proportionality becomes momentum diffusivity, right? Mu. For heat flux, higher the heat flux, higher is going to be the for higher gradient, higher heat flux we are going to observe. For lower gradient, lower heat flux we are going to observe. Here the constant of proportionality would be thermal diffusivity. For mass flux, higher gradient, what do you mean by gradient? It is the gradient is basically the driving force uh, that is responsible for a particular transfer to happen. Gradient is what? Change in concentration with respect to the distance. This would be one of the gradient that is used in all the three types of transfers. So when I say gradient, it is the change in concentration or change in mass or change in temperature or change in velocities, right? So change in velocities with respect to distance, right? So here you'll see that all the there is some gradient, and because of that there is some flux that is being observed. So all the constants of proportionality, the momentum diffusivity, thermal diffusivity, mass diffusivity, these become the physical property of that particular medium, right? Suppose if you have to find out the viscosity of a particular liquid, so what we are going to do, we are going to place the liquid between two parallel plates, and then we are going to give a push to the lower plate, and then we are going to find out what is the relative velocity of the liquid at different levels, at different uh, distance. From that we can able to find out what is the momentum diffusivity, right? Similarly for thermal diffusivity as well and mass diffusivity as well, we can formulate a particular experiment to get the physical property of that medium. Now we'll come to what are the physical quantities that are encountered. I'll just revise what was there in the Newton's law. Tau was equal to minus mu dv by dx, dv by dy. For heat, it is Q is equal to minus K dt by dy. For mass, it is m is equal to minus dAB dCA by dy. So what is the physical relevance, physical quantities that we encounter? Now heat flux and mass flux are more or less similar. Why? Because there is some scalar, that is T, temperature, and scalar, that is concentration, we can measure. Now we are taking a gradient of a scalar quantity, hence the heat flux and mass flux are vector quantities that we encounter in our scenarios. However, the momentum transfer equation, Newton's law, here we are having a gradient of a vector Vx. Hence, the tau, that is the shear stress that is being created, becomes a tensor quantity. So tensor quantity would have different dimensions. It would have different values for different dimensions. So we'll come to it in the subsequent slides. So here it is very important to understand what are the different physical quantities we are going to encounter for the seemingly same equations. So if you see here, there is some property on the left hand side, that is the effect that is caused due to some gradient, and there is some constant of proportionality. Though the three equation looks very similar, they have got a very basic similar fundamental theory. However, the characters of all the three equations are different, and hence its relevance become different. Now we'll come to boundary conditions. So what happens is, once we are done with the basic forms of equation, we will come to boundary conditions. Now boundary conditions, as we have already discussed, that these conditions are necessary for to solve a particular equation and to have a basic property as a function of some scalar quantity, right? So boundary conditions are very essential in solving all the scenarios that we are going to come across. So what are boundary conditions? Now consider a liquid flowing over stationary plate in x direction. So there are two plates. Now this is liquid air interface, right? Now there is some liquid at y is equal to 0. The plate is stationary, and there is a layer of liquid that is passing over the plate, right? So there will be a liquid that will be passing over the plate. So obviously the layer which is just connected to the lower stationary plate will have a velocity 0, and as you progress towards the liquid air interface, the velocity of that liquid will go on increasing, right? So that is how that this would be the velocity profile for this particular scenario, where the layer which is nearer to the uh, bottom stationary plate will have a velocity equal to 0, and as you progress towards the liquid air interface, the velocity will go on increasing. Now where are the boundary conditions over here? So at point A and point B are the boundary conditions. So what happens at point A? At point A, y is equal to 0. Now what is the relevance of y equal to 0? It is the point from where we are going to start our analysis, right? At y is equal to 0 means the plate is stationary. What is the condition at y is equal to 0? So at y is equal to 0, the immediate layer at y is equal to 0 will have a will have no velocity, right? So Vx at y is equal to 0 would be 0. This is also called as no slip conditions. Now similarly, at what will happen at B, at y is equal to delta. Suppose the thickness of that liquid flowing over the stationary plate is delta, right? So at what happens at y is equal to delta, the tau, that is the momentum flux at y is equal to delta would be equal to 0. Now there is an assumption over here that there will be some momentum flux due to liquid and subsequently attached to the liquid surface the air that is there. However, the viscosity of air is far less compared to the liquid. Hence, we are assuming that there is no momentum transfer from the liquid surface to air. However, this particular condition may not be true for gas-gas transfer or gas flowing from over a particular plate. This particular thing may not be applicable. However, for the sake of simplicity, we are going to assume that at y is equal to delta, the momentum flux would become equal to 0. This is also called as no shear conditions, right? Now these two are the basic boundary conditions that we are going to apply for all the different scenarios. Be it now here we have taken the example of momentum flux. The same would be there for heat heat transfer as well, and the same would be the case for mass transfer as well. Now, another question that may come to our mind is, do no slip conditions actually exist? Now, for a bulk material or where there is bulk handling of material, there is a condition that no slip condition may not may exist, but for small channels like micro reactors, micro channels, so there we have to take into account the velocity of the layer which is just adjoining to the surface, and there we cannot assume no slip condition. So this is a basic fundamental assumption that we have taken to solve a particular scenario. So at the start of all the scenarios, what we are going to do is we are going to write down a particular set of assumptions. We have one assumption we have already studied about is the laminar conditions, right? Now another assumption that we are going to do is steady state, right? And also we are going to consider only molecular diffusion is happening, right? There is no convective momentum or convective heat or convective mass transfer that is happening. What we are assuming it is molecular transfer is happening, right? And also we are going to assume that what are the density and viscosity of the medium is not going to change. Now this assumption may in the first look would be in the first look may be looked at as a wrong assumption, but if you have to solve now there for that we have to have certain compensations so that we get a nearer value to the actual, right? So why to do all these things means if we can actually measure all these things, then why to model? So there is a issue in chemical engineering that it may not be possible to have experiments, repeated experiments for the same kind of scenarios, because for every system the amount of variables are going to increase. So to understand, to have a uniformity in our understanding, what we can do is we can formulate a single experiment, find out the different boundary conditions, measure the scalar quantities, and can we use the things that we observe in a single experiment, can we use it for different scenarios, is the reason why we are actually uh, studying this particular subject. I hope the boundary conditions are clear, because boundary conditions you are going to use it for all the scenarios. So a tutorial for you. uh, you have to solve the tutorials. Now the first question is about shear rate. Shear rate is the dvx by dy value, and shear stress you have to calculate using Newton's law of viscosity. Second is all the three questions are very similar and very easy to solve. I hope you would be able to solve all these questions and send it to me. I'll be sharing the details of sending your assignments via some mechanism. I'll do it in the subsequent slides. Thank you so much. At the end, you can contact me at different, these are my credentials. You can contact me whenever you want, and in case of any difficulty. Thank you so much.